Great news, Vergil Ortiz, his next fight, it looks like it could be a very big one. And I want you guys to hear what Vergil Ortiz had to say about his next fight, which he confirms will take place February 2025. My name is Ego. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe. Golden Boys, Oscar De La Hoya, I do believe he has Latino night, and Vergil Ortiz is live in attendance. They said a couple things and kind of hinted to Vergil Ortiz's next move, and I want you guys to hear it. Roll the clip.
What can you tell us? Firstly, is he going to fight February 22nd? Can we get that confirmed?
Yes, we will put everything together. Vergil Ortiz obviously is always in great shape. He's going to train hard. He's going to get ready. But that date is perfect for him. We'll just have to look at the details and take it from there. But we're really looking forward to coming back to Riyadh. Riyadh is a special place. Riyadh is going to, in my eyes, going to be the hub of boxing for the years to come.
Vergil, we spoke a couple of days ago and I said, okay, give me the short list for what's possible for February 22nd. You had all the big names in there: Sebastian Fundora, Terence Crawford, Jaron Ennis. Are we any further afield? Oscar smiles. Are we any further afield with that short list?
Yeah, we are. Of course, in due time, we'll be able to say who it is. I don't want to say something and get disappointed, but I think we're on a good track on getting a good fight next fight.
Okay, Oscar, can we confirm if the fight will be one of those three that I just mentioned?
It's one of those three.
Oh, okay.
I like it. It's one of those three.
I'll take any of those
One
three.
thing about Vergil Ortiz, he will fight anybody. Yeah. He's ready. He's on that level. I strongly feel that the names you just mentioned are viable opponents for Vergil Ortiz to make great fights and to see who's the best. And obviously, when you sign up for this sport, you sign up to be a world champion. You sign up to be the best, and that's exactly what Vergil wants to be, the best.
Vergil, I think, again, we've spoken, I think any of those three names are fantastic for your next fight. You must have your preference, though. You must have your 1, 2, 3. List it out for me. Who is your ideal one that you want to fight? Again, all three make sense.
Yeah. So we got three. I would say Sebastian Fundora. I'm already to the interim. I'm sure we can make that easily. Number 2, I would say Jaron Ennis. He's coming up for 147. And I think it's a great fight. He's a big 147. He could easily fight at 154. And number 1, Terence Crawford. I've been winning that fight since 147. I think he's a great fighter. Arguably number 1, number 2, pound for pound. And, like I said, he's just a great fighter. And I would like to test myself against the greats to prove that I'm great.
Start of next.
Boom. So that was Vergil Ortiz himself. And he said the order. He went from bottom to top. So I'll go from top to bottom. It's easier. 1, he says his number 1 fight is Terence Bud Crawford. Number 2, Jaron Boots Ennis. Number 3 is Sebastian Fundora. Since I went from top to bottom, let me slice off the third fight. In my honest opinion, I don't believe that Vergil Ortiz will fight Sebastian Fundora next. And I don't know the strength of the working relationship between Turki Al-Sheikh, Riyadh season, and PBC. That's one issue, because there's been some chaos. Canelo is working with PBC. Canelo is working with Al Heyman, and there's been some friction there in the past. Things were said. Also, Tim Tszyu, another 54-pounder and PBC fighter. Turki made comments like, Tim Tszyu, I don't know if I want to work with him, and his team just doesn't get it, right? And outside of the Crawford Madrimov, where you had Pitbull fighting another PBC fighter, El Rayo, Jose Valenzuela, you haven't really seen much of PBC fighters like committing to Riyadh season, just like, Queensberry promotion with Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, and also Golden Boy. So I'm going to rule that out. Number 2, Sebastian Fundora is approved for voluntary defense, and the rumor is that it will be Errol Spence. Hey, stop that cat. Yeah, definitely. Right? So my intuition is pretty good. My intuition says that Fundora will fight Errol Spence, or at least a PBC guy, before he fights Vergil, which Oscar committed and said is going to be one of those 3 names. So to me, the real options are Jaron Ennis for February or Terence Crawford. Now, Jaron Ennis, I've already told you my opinion. I've enjoyed watching Jaron Ennis. I put a lot of people on Ennis, but last 2 fights to me has been a regression. Like, I've seen a regression. It doesn't mean that Boots sucks or, is not a good fighter, but personally, I've seen a regression. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, links below. I've seen a regression. Like, his defense doesn't look as tight, I feel like he peaked at the Roman Villa fight, excellent performance, but then he signed with Eddie Hearn, and you just seen him get hit more. He looked a lot more hittable, and they just weren't my favorite performances from him. He was blowing guys out of there. Pause. Whoa. No Diddy. Pause. We got to pause that. But, he was like demolishing guys on Showtime, on PBC cards. And then he gets with Eddie Hearn and it kind of freezes up. Whereas the David Avocado fight, he was getting hit too much, considering a late replacement. Like, this is just not someone, it shouldn't even be competitive. Crawford also destroyed David Avanesian viciously with the single shot. You know what I mean? So I think people expected more there. And then Karen Chukadasian was more recently. He did the rematch and he looked worse in the rematch. So going into the Vergil Ortiz fight, it is dangerous, and it's really kind of a 50-50 fight. Vergil Ortiz's team has moved him in a better fashion to ready himself for this moment, giving him guys like Mean Machine at 47 and, those types of fights, Samuel Vargas, and then moving him to 54 where he's had time to acclimate. Boots would be going from 47 straight to 54, and he has to just put it together. And in my opinion, has to be a lot less hittable than what was displayed in his last 2 fights. So he's going to have to clean up and do it immediately. Now, as far as Terrence Crawford, Crawford is a phenomenal fighter. Obviously, that would be a good fight. Vergil Ortiz is correct. He has been calling out Crawford, and he says he wants it. But only problem is, does Terrence Crawford want it, or is he still like holding out hope to get the Canelo fight? Because Turki Al-Sheikh has done previous interviews where he's like, I'll offer a Vergil Ortiz fight to Bud, but I'm not sure he's going to take it. I don't think he's going to take it. So it might be Jaron Ennis. I think if I had to rank this in terms of likeliness to happen, I would say Boots, number 1 option to happen. Number 2 would be Crawford, and it's really dependent on Crawford and his wants and desires. And then 3, Sebastian Fundora, which the Fundora fight is not happening to me. So that's not even really, I put it at number 3 just for the sake of ranking. I don't think it's happening at all. So I think it'll be between Crawford and Boots. But again, Crawford's such a wild card because I don't know what he wants. He might just only want Canelo and not want the risk of a Vergil Ortiz and a name like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that falls more on Crawford. It falls more on what Crawford wants to do. And that's completely unknown at this moment, what he truly wants. If he wants to continue. A lot of pugilists and analysts have speculated that Crawford may actually just retire, may opt to retire if he can't get a fight like Canelo. So I'm not sure, but money talks. And that's the other issue is I think Crawford, given what he's done, he's going to demand more moolah. And I don't know if between what Vergil Ortiz, he's going to want probably some millions for a tough fight, and Golden Boy, taking some of his money. So I don't know how feasible the Crawford fight is, because Crawford, for a name like Vergil Ortiz, he might want a pretty penny, versus Jaron Boots Ennis hasn't accomplished what Crawford's accomplished, hasn't, attained the consecutive paydays that Crawford has been getting with Top Rank, the Arrow fight, the Madrimov fight. So if I had to take a stab at the dark, I think the Boots fight is the most realistic to happen for those obvious reasons. But all 3 are good fights. The Fundora, again, I have no faith that they can get that done. Crawford, told you he's the wild card. So really it's looking like Boots to me, which is a good fight, dangerous fight for both, especially Boots with no time to acclimate. Let me know what you guys think.